Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Regular viewers will know that I've been sitting on a story for some time. This is the Jordan Linden one. I sort of alluded to the fact that I'd been informed of something, but I couldn't possibly say what it was because I didn't want to be the one who broke the news. Because otherwise, it could have been very expensive for me, should anyone have done anything. I had to wait till it came out into the public sphere before I could speak about it. And then finally, thankfully, beginning of the week, it did. And I was able to come out. And of course, this was the fact that it wasn't just that one 18-year-old boy that Linden somehow inappropriately touched. It turned out there was a whole spate of them. There was many of them. It was going down. There was some issue of child grooming, possibly. And that people knew, very senior people knew, all the way up to Peter Murrell. And if Peter Murrell knew, it's almost certain that Nicola Sturgeon knew. And so I said in the last video, when I could actually finally talk about it at last, that the police must investigate these people. If they knew and did nothing, they are guilty after the fact. They're guilty of perversion of the course of justice. These are both serious crimes, and that they need to be arrested and questioned. Well, here we go. The police are going to. They're going to do this, and they're going to arrest and question Peter Murrell for the second time, but this time nothing to do with the finances and everything to do with the cover-up and the hiding of the sexual abuse of possibly minors. Not only is it that, but it actually gets worse, and we will have a look in this article. And there was something in this article that even I did not know, so it's news to me as well. My informant told me a lot, but he didn't tell me this, so maybe he didn't know. But this also raises questions about Humza Yousaf. Let's go. Peter Murrell to face police quiz over probe into SNP sex pest Jordan Linden. It will be the second time the husband of former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has faced detectives in as many months for a different crime. And there he is. He won't be looking so supercilious, in a few hours when he's sitting in a room being questioned over what he knew. Former SNP Chief Executive Peter Murrell is to face police questioning into a major probe into the shamed sex pest counsellor Jordan Linden. It will be the second time the husband of former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has faced the detectives in as many months, after he was arrested and released in April during a separate fraud probe into the party finances. But now Murrell and SNP compliance officer Ian McCann will be approached by police looking into sexual assault allegations made against Linden. And this isn't just the one. He said that he resigned not because he'd done it. His words were that he was completely innocent, but the allegations were disturbing and awful, and he didn't feel that he wanted to be in the public spotlight, and so he resigned for that, so that he could deal with fighting the allegations. His words, that kind of thing. And that is when, about sort of 3 months ago now, I think 2-3 months ago, I had somebody come to me. They emailed me. They gave me a whole load of details, and they explained that it wasn't just this one. And they said that there was a memo going around, and it was saying basically they needed to. This is the SNP. They needed to protect this man. He said because this coming out would damage the party, so we need to fight this and do this and this and this and this and this and this, all these things. And one of the things was that he had to, if he's going to resign, that's fine. But they picked the least obnoxious thing on the list. Used that as the excuse. He resigns. The principle being, they then get their solicitors to go in, get the NDAs, pay off a lot of money. People would never talk about it. It'd be done. He'd be then brought back into the fold, and he'd go on to have a sparkling career as an MP. This is the plan. This was the plan that they wanted. Anyway, that obviously isn't going to happen now. That's done. He's finished. He could be going and doing some serious time for some serious crime. And now it's a question of who knew and who did what. And this is why the SNP protect the perpetrators of crimes and don't protect the victims, because they cannot be seen to be a party that's absolutely ram-filled with people like this. But apparently they are. And my source says that there is another one. And again, I can't talk about that either. But there's another one going to come out, hopefully soon. We shall see. But anyway, the Sunday Mail can also reveal that the First Minister, Humza Yousaf, and this is astounding, he supported a bid by the disgraced Linden to become an MP after the party was warned about his behaviour. And so the party were told about this Linden, and Humza Yousaf still backed this man to become an MP. Humza Yousaf needs to answer some very serious questions. He needs to answer them in a police station. And if he knew and did nothing, he needs to be charged. He needs to be charged with the same crime because he's guilty after the fact. This could destroy Humza Yousaf if this comes out like how it's going to play out, like I think it's going to play out. Yousaf, then the Justice Secretary, endorsed Linden as a candidate for the Westminster elections in 2019 and said he would make an outstanding MP. Really? You think somebody who does this, potentially to children, would make an outstanding MP? And you didn't do it out of ignorance. The party knew, the party had been warned, and you're still backing him. This is who the SNP are. They want to promote people who possibly have done things to children. Because this is the SNP, and we know what the P stands for. Linden, 27, quit as the North Lanarkshire Council leader last year after the Sunday Mail revealed claims he had sexually harassed a young man in 2019. After we published the story, 5 more men contacted us to say they had been the victims of sexually inappropriate behaviour, assault and harassment dating back to 2015. In March this year, we revealed allegations made by Cammy McManus. In March this year, we revealed allegations made by Cammy McManus, a fellow councillor, who said he was sexually assaulted by Linden during a trip abroad, and he had been harassed by him for 7 years while they were both councillors. Linden quit as a politician and the SNP the day after we published the claims, but he's consistently denied any wrongdoing. Well, of course he's going to deny it, but with all these other allegations coming, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to hide now. And it's going to become clear, I think, clear to everyone exactly what he is, which is a pretty awful human being. But it's going to come very, very clear what the SNP are, because they are covering this up. They knew every allegation, and they did nothing. Officers from the Public Protection Unit at Police Scotland are now investigating allegations of sexual assault against Linden, and they're due to speak with Murrell as well as McCann. And sources close to the investigation said they would be asking for details of any other complaints or concerns raised with the SNP about the former council leader. A source said officers are looking to see if anyone else contacted the SNP in the past about Jordan Linden's behaviour, as they will want to speak with them for their investigation. Several men have spoken to officers about their experience with Linden, including 4 men who say they were sexually assaulted or harassed. In 2017, a concerned SNP member contacted senior party officials warning that Linden was not fit to represent the party. This is in 2017. We're talking 6 years ago. They have sat on this for 6 years. They have promoted this man. They have pushed this man. They were looking to make this man an MP, and they knew there was multiple allegations with him. That's not a good look. He looks a bit like an Oompa Loompa. Unless it's deliberate, of course. McCann, an ally of Sturgeon and Murrell, was told about Linden's sexual harassment of a young SNP member in 2019. The party took no action and allowed Linden to rise through the ranks, because of course they would. These are the people they like. These are the people they want on board. And I actually think, and this is something that I actually think, that they like these people because they can use these peccadillos, these little sins, for blackmail. And they'll say, right, you will push this. I can't push this. I can't agree with this. If you don't push this, we'll release this information. And they've got them over a barrel. I think this is part of it, and this is why they protect the perpetrators. It's so that they have got something on the perpetrators, because that is just the way that the SNP operate, isn't it? Anyway, at the time of the Dundee incident, Linden was seeking to become an MP, but 4 days later, he quietly dropped his Westminster ambition. Linden was forced to stand aside from his council role last year while an investigation was carried out into claims he sexually inappropriate behaviour when he was the chairman of the Scottish Youth Parliament. Youth Parliament boss Ben McKendrick, who is not in a senior post at the Scottish Parliament, may be quizzed by police probing the latest claims. He was dealing with the youth wing. We're talking young people here, and this is where the child grooming may well be coming into this, and yet knowing all of this, because the claims were many and often. This is what the SNP did. Peter Murrell did not, as the chief executive, did not go to the police and say, we have reasons to believe this. We don't know if they're true. We hope to God they're not. Will you please investigate? That's what someone should do. That's what a responsible executive would do. You know, until there's evidence, fine, innocent until proven guilty. But if the suspicion's there, and it's come from multiple sources, you go to the police, you say, we hope it isn't true, you know, but we've had several complaints of this. We feel it's too serious to deal with internally. Please, will you look at this? And that's all it takes. And if he'd have done that, if Murrell had done that, he would have been off scot-free. He'd have been seen as fine. And people would have said, well, fair enough, Peter. It was a serious allegation. It did need to go there. And he's either innocent or he's guilty. If he's guilty, well done to Peter Murrell for reporting it. And if he's innocent, well, fine, he's innocent. But at least Peter Murrell would have acted responsibly. No, that's not what Murrell did. Murrell went, yes, he's guilty of all these terrible things. We know this. All these people coming forward. We've all suspected for years. We've all known about it. But we won't tell anyone. We'll cover this up. We'll protect him. The victims we're not bothered about, but we'll protect the perpetrator because it suits us to do that. Because if we go out, it'll make the SNP look bad. And also it gives us something to control him with. That is the mentality of these people. These people running the SNP are unfit. And when you have the current leader as well as the past leader both being aware of this and backing him, even though they're aware of what's gone on, this is a joke of a party, isn't it? Anyway, the SNP was asked why the First Minister endorsed Linden's bid to become an MP, despite the party being aware of the concerns about his behaviour. A spokesman denied any knowledge of prior concerns, because what else are they going to say? He said clearly all endorsements predate the very serious allegations that have since emerged. That's a lie, because this promotion thing that of when he was pushing it was 2019. The allegations were 2017. So straight up, absolute lies from the SNP. I mean, provable liars. Anyway, he said, Mr. Linden is not an SNP member. Not anymore. He was at the time. Any allegation of criminality is rightly for the police to investigate, not a political party. Then why didn't you go to the police and tell them to investigate it with all these multiple allegations made against him? This is the... you can't get over how bad the SNP are. They're actually protecting abusers of children. Scottish Conservative Deputy Leader Megan Gallagher said it raised serious questions about the First Minister's judgment. Well, yeah. I mean, if the First Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf, is seriously considering a man fit enough to hold an MP's position, even though there are many allegations against him for the worst kind of crimes, then yeah, his judgment is seriously brought into consideration. He also needs to be having a very strong interview without the offer of coffee in a police station. She added that the fact that the SNP Justice Secretary, Humza Yousaf, was prepared to wholeheartedly endorse Linden when major concerns had already been raised over his behaviour, once again highlights a toxic culture within the SNP. Too often they jump to the defence of the perpetrator rather than the victims. She criticised Yousaf's handling of the latest allegations, which has seen 8 local councillors quit the party and form a rival group, Progressive Change North Lanarkshire. And this is what we've got. We have got this whole party riddled top to bottom with the very worst people, because it's either filled with people who are doing terrible things, or it's filled with people protecting and covering up those that are doing the very worst things. The SNP is a disgusting, degenerate mob of semi-gangsters. They're just disgusting. Anyway, I should stop there and come up. How low do you think the SNP are prepared to go? Because they're already lower than a snake's belly. That they would protect people who do these most awful crimes. Not only protect them, but promote them. Give them authority. This is a party that wants to control the whole of Scotland, to control all your lives, to control your children's education. And yet they're backing, promoting and supporting and endorsing people who do the worst crimes. Is there no limit? Is there no limit to their degeneracy? Is there no limit to the awful things they are prepared to do? This is not a political party. This is a bunch of perverted, degenerate bastards, really, that they would even consider protecting this man. And it isn't the only one. And they're riddled with it. They're absolutely riddled with it. If this doesn't break the SNP, then anyone who votes for the SNP is actually endorsing the abuse of children. And that you've got to make this clear. If you vote for the SNP, you are pro doing things to children. That's it. You are voting for peas. You are voting for parties that protect peas. And that makes you as guilty as them if you vote SNP. That's what they are. It's disgusting. We need to make this clear. We need to push this. And you need to make sure that everyone who votes SNP is ashamed to do so. And hopefully will never do so again. And get these people out of politics and preferably into a prison. And I shall stop. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Definitely leave a like on this one. This is just disgusting and it needs to go out, so the likes really help the algorithm. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. For God's sake, protect your children if there's anyone from the SNP nearby. And goodbye.